All right, so I got some videos for you today. I got some good ones and some bad ones. Before we get started, I do want to wish, or I guess say that I hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. And I hope that you all have a Happy New Year, even though I think I'm going to put up a video before then. But still, I hope you have a Happy New Year, etc. Let's dive in.
All right, everybody. Today is Gender Reassignment Day. I'm going to come around and give you each a new gender and pronouns. Jimmy, you're now Jamay, she, her. Carlos, you're now Carla, she, they. Rebecca, those shoes are giving pure cuteness, but they're also getting non-binary. Oh and Jack. Jack, you are now Jackie, she, her. This whole table, non-binary.
Now, I think this teacher is playing. It looks like he's wearing a wig. I don't know for sure, but the students are clearly like, what are you talking about?
Sam, you are now Sam, but non-binary Sam.
Thank you.
And Chad, Chad, you are still a Chad. Keep being a Chad.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, everybody, are you happy with your gender? No. Well, that's too bad. All right, so for homework, if you're a guy, you now need to listen to Nickelback and Joe Rogan. If you're a woman, things are already tough enough for you. Just keep being a woman. And if you're non-binary, I need colored hair by Monday. Thank you.
All right, so I think that Mr. Sheerhood, I have not looked him up on TikTok. Maybe I should. Is having fun. I don't know. Let me pause the video and see if I can find him on TikTok real quick here. All right. So after some investigation, I do get the distinct impression that this person is a progressive. I guess he has a trans partner who is a male presenting as female, and then he's all about like, hey, yeah, love and accept everybody. Which I mean, that's fine. We should be, getting along at least. I'm not sure if this is a real gender day because one other thing is that he supposedly is a math teacher. I found out. So he shouldn't be assigning gender in math class at all. He shouldn't be assigning gender at public schools, period, but whatever. Anyway, we'll move on. All right, so this appears to be from a show called Impractical Jokers. I don't watch the show, so we're going to find out what this is all about.
It's still not uncommon to hear the phrase, that's a man's job, and I want to hear your thoughts on that particular phrase.
So remember, just oppose their views. It's super simple.
Right?
There are men's jobs and there are women's jobs. I mean, I think we all, we're not saying that doesn't exist, right? I mean, you're not...
We are kind of saying that.
But it's just like if you pull up to a garage and you got to get like an alternator replaced and there's a woman mechanic, the majority of men and women are going to look at that and be like, hey, man, I'm all for, women's rights. I mean, who isn't? But I also want my car to run well.
You can feel it. You can feel it. I can't take it.
We're going to discuss some of the most influential women, who you think they are, and sort of what gives them that influence. Michelle Obama, Shonda Rhimes. Women can do all sorts of things.
Yes, what did Michelle Obama or Shonda Rhimes do? Please, tell me. Michelle Obama and Shonda Rhimes, as far as I can tell, didn't really do anything. Maybe I'm mistaken. Maybe you could go down in the comments and tell me that they did something amazing.
All right, buddy. Now disagree with that.
These are, the Michelle Obama thing, she got there because she slept with a man.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
I think Michelle Obama is a fantastic example.
Right, but she wouldn't be in the White House if her husband hadn't gotten her there. I mean, very pretty. Very pretty.
I love how he ends on, she's very pretty, and they're looking skeptical. Now, they probably weren't looking skeptical about her being very pretty. I'm sure they would wholeheartedly agree that she's one of the most attractive women ever in history. But they are probably looking skeptical and bewildered at the fact that he just said, oh, Michelle Obama got her position in life by sleeping with a man, which is 100% true. She was nothing. Barack Obama became president. She was his wife. That's it. That's all that happened. So I couldn't have said it better myself. I think it's pretty funny that these people can't look at the situation objectively and go, yeah, Michelle Obama didn't do anything. She married a man who was already a winner or something to that effect, who was already on path to winning. Before we move on, please remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure that you're still subscribed. YouTube does unsubscribe people. So you can find me over on Rumble and on Twitter if you don't like YouTube. Let's move on to the next video here.
Are you all right?
Are you okay? Oh, I'm feeling better than ever.
Are you all right?
Yes, I'm all right.
Are you a racist?
Am I what?
Stay here.
Are you racist? Am I racist?
Yeah.
No, I'm not a racist. Why do you ask that? Why is it that people who stand up for America and who want to protect our own borders, why are we always trying to be backed up with the racist thing?
Because they have no other argument. There is no argument. There's no argument for keeping the borders open. There's a million arguments for closing the border. The only thing that these people can say is, oh, it's because you're racist. That's why you don't want the borders open. It has nothing to do with race.
Standing here with a black man. If I was a racist, this is my brother right here. If I'm standing with him, how can I be a racist?
Why would you ask that question? You're asking him because he's white and you want to get away with his racist remark. Are you a racist?
No, I know.
So why is it that
100% this woman is a racist. I can guarantee you that. I don't know her. I've never met her. Never spoken to her in my entire life. I would bet everything I own that she's actually, at her core, a racist.
you're racist
Do
on
you
board the
like
country?
the Latin people? Do you like
Do
them?
you like them? Do you like them?
Yeah, I
Do you
like
like
Latin
America?
people.
Do you like America?
Yeah.
Then what's the problem? That's a dumb question to ask. You're asking that question so you can use it on your program to make him look like a racist. Why don't you ask me am I racist? Because I'm black, right? I love America too, and I think these illegal aliens need to be shipped back to their country.
So that was Jesse Lee Peters talking there at the end. You can find him on YouTube. He's all over YouTube. No, I don't want Latin American people coming to the United States. Oh, I'm racist, right? No, it has absolutely nothing to do with the color of their skin. I don't care about that. I don't care about your genetics so much as I care about your culture. They want to bring that culture here. They want to have that culture here in this country, thinking they're going to maintain the high standard of living in this country while that culture is pervasive or even dominant or even the only culture. This is not going to work that way. And I do feel sorry for these people who have nothing in their home country. I'm not even talking about the people who are oppressed or subjected to violence or living in fear, etc., or whatever. No, I worked with a woman briefly. She's like, where I come from in Central America, there is nothing. Like, there is no economy. Zero economy. We lived in the mountains and we survived basically on what we could find to eat. That's it. We'd had nothing. It was terrible. So she wasn't hurting for food, trust me. I don't think she was, because she was a little overweight. Not bad, but a little bit overweight. But still, it's like, why would you want to live in that situation? I understand you don't want to live in that situation, but we can't take everybody here. And on top of which, I don't want that culture becoming dominant here. So anyway, we'll move on.
What's your age?
Does it matter?
Absolutely.
All right, I'm 31. 33.
What's the biggest challenge you run into dating 30-year-old men?
They lie.
They're broke.
You're meeting broke men at 30?
I mean, I'm not meeting them, but there's multiple men out there that are broke.
So how much income should a 30-year-old guy be bringing in now in 2023?
100K
Over
plus.
100K, yeah.
One said over 100K, the other said 100K. And I think that's reasonable because let's find out what they else they have to say here.
100K minimum.
You think that's realistic?
Yeah.
If you put the effort and the hustle
It's
into
very,
it,
it's very, very possible.
It's not very possible. We know this is not very possible. A small percentage of the population makes $100,000 a year. And we know that typically the older you get, the more money you make. So 30 is not very old, really, when it comes to the grand scheme of your earning potential.
Do you know what percentage of the U.S. is actually bringing in 100K?
I don't know the percentage.
About 10% probably. Like
10%?
Yeah.
So if it's 10% of the U.S., why is that the expectation at 30?
Yeah, right. So if it's 10% of the United States population, it's bringing in 100K. We can assume that that's like 8% of that. 8% is male. Let's just assume that rough number. 8% of it is male. Editing warrior here. So I canned all my calculations on how many people that would be. I just ran it through a female delusion calculator. It turns out that about a little bit over 30% of the population in the United States makes 100K or more. That's a lot. That's a lot more than I thought. I put in these stats: 40 years old maximum age, earning a minimum of 100K, and at least 6 feet tall, not married and not obese, any race. And you end up with 1.15%. Now do note the age qualifications down here, but yeah, that's a very small percentage of the population. Good luck, ladies.
I don't know. We have that question. Tell us.
Are you yourself bringing in 100K as a woman?
I am, as a woman, more actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think that makes you easier to date?
No, it's actually harder. So yes, women that are intelligent and make more money than men, it's harder to date.
Okay. At least she admits that it's harder to date when you make more money, but it says she's intelligent. She's not intelligent, no. An intelligent woman would look at the situation objectively and go, hey, this is where I'm at, this is what I earn, and I need to understand that the men in my acceptable age range are probably not going to be making as much as me or more than me, and I need to be willing to date a man who makes less money than me. And she is not very attractive, on top of which, I mean, she's 30 years old, 31. Yeah, I mean, neither one of these women is anywhere approaching a 10, but I mean, I guess compared to most American women, they're not bad looking, but they're not worthy of $120,000 a year, man. They're not. We can get a much better woman than this. So we'll move on here. We're going to follow that up with some truth bombs here from the Whatever podcast. Let's check it out.
So wait a sec. How are you equal if the men are the ones that have to fight and die to defend the country? The men are the ones that build and maintain all the infrastructure, right? Like, none of this stuff in the studio is built or maintained by women. You know that like 90% of infrastructure jobs are still held by men, and that if you look at the top 20 jobs held by women now in 2024 versus 1924 are almost the exact same. So women have had 100 years to do whatever they want and they still do the same 20 jobs they did 100 years ago, other than we switched out farm labor for HR work. But other than that, we're secretaries, nurses, daycare ladies, early childhood education, administrative assistants, retail workers, all the same shit that we were a century ago. So if the men are the ones tasked with, every time there's a natural disaster, they have to go out and rescue people from the fires and the floodwaters. And every time there's a war, the men have to go and fight it and defend the country. And anytime there's a criminal who needs to be violently arrested, it's going to be a man who goes and does that, not a woman. Where does the equality come in?
I like how she points out all this stuff, and the girls are just kind of like looking uncomfortable the whole time. They're like, you're right. I mean, I'm an administrative assistant. And she says, they traded out a farm work for HR work. Well, it kind of makes sense that they traded out farm work because there's fewer people as a percentage of the population working on farms, working in agriculture in general, because it's a lot more automated now. You need a lot fewer people doing it. There's a lot fewer people living on farms in 2024 than there was in 1994 or 1924. So a lot fewer people are farming. And then they made them HR. Well, yeah, of course, the increase of corporate economics, these larger companies that need somebody who's going to be in charge of hiring and firing and doing these sorts of things. On top of which, this is a position that in many cases is not even necessary. So who is more likely to do a job that allows you to sit at a desk but have no real pressure on you to perform? A man or a woman? Who's more likely to do that? Very difficult question to answer, I know. Now, this is one that was going on a few months ago, went viral a few months ago. Let's go ahead and see what it says. I'm sure you'll probably remember seeing it. If you haven't seen it, then you need to see this one. It's really important.
Guys are smarter than girls. You got some serious problems. That's what frustrates me. There are going to be some males in our society that will refuse to vote for a potential female president because they don't think females are smart enough to be president. We could line all those guys up and shoot them. They clearly don't understand the way the world works. Did I say that? Scratch that from the recording. I don't want the deans hearing that I said that.
So I think this guy lost his job, actually, for saying that. But that's so ridiculous of a statement to make. I think it's hilarious. Twice now that President Trump has run for office, they've decided to put a woman against him. Like, oh, this guy can't possibly win. We'll go ahead and put a woman up against him. That'll be an easy win for the woman. Of course, I mean, the women they choose. Look at Kamala. Talk about a freaking toadstool. And then you got Clinton. Ugh, wicked witch from the West. So the women that they're putting up against Trump, it's like no wonder they're losing. But on top of which, I mean, Trump seems to appeal to a lot of people. In general, he seems to appeal to a lot of people. Now, we are going to follow this up with something that is very disturbing. So get ready for shock and awe. This exactly exemplifies why we don't want women to be leaders.
There's something weird about conservatives.
There is almost a cultish vibe, I feel. The way they operate within themselves, they refuse to listen to outside people, they're refusing to learn, essentially. I think that is a large part of it.
So someone please explain to me what this individual has to teach me. This person who is a woman trying to present as a man with long green hair. If you're not looking at the screen, if you can't look at the screen for whatever reason, this is a person who is not wearing a shirt, wearing leather studded bracers, some sort of backpack with a studded leather strap with a ring on it between the backpack straps that are coming over the shoulders. This person has long green hair and then makeup, sort of like the Crow, only less appealing on the face. Totally white with black around the mouth and the nose and the eyebrows. And then facial piercings as well, through the nose and through the eyebrow, multiple through the nose and through the lip. And multiple through the nose, I don't mean only in the area at the tip of the nose. It's like through the bridge of the nose as well. So, a very extreme look, we'd say the least. Oh yes, I forgot, shirtless. That's an important part. I did say the shirtless part, but breasts are taped up, taped down so that you cannot see them. Yeah. What is this person going to teach me? Oh, acceptance? Acceptance of you as an individual? Okay, I'm not going to hurt you. Go live your life. But whatever it is you're presenting to me as a positive thing, as a good thing in the world, no, you don't have that. No, I'm sorry. I can dismiss you out of hand. You're not going to present to me with any ideas that I haven't already thought of, and that I can't learn from somebody who is a more reasonable individual, more level-headed individual, a person who is in touch with reality. This person appears to be living in a fantasy world where dress up and adherence to what is obviously anti-scientific is not cultish behavior. Now, we used to say this about the Republicans, the conservatives, years ago, I remember. They were the ones that were in a cult. They were the ones who were adhering to cult-like behavior, who were not adhering to science, etc. But the progressives have gone way off the deep end now, and they're like, oh yeah, there's only 50 million genders. No, there's 2. You could maybe colloquially get away with saying there's 4, if you include hermaphrodites and trans. People who have actually transitioned trans, or at least are presenting to where I would not be able to tell. Because otherwise, we're all men and women. And there's only the 2 options. There's only people who are like, I'm non-binary. No, you're not. I've talked about this before. If you haven't heard these videos, how would that work? We understand the binary through reproduction, right? The man inseminates the woman. Okay, so please explain to me this third fantastical gender that doesn't work on a binary somehow. It works on a trinary. Oh, there's a trinary now. You're still going to have some way of gestating the baby, and you're still going to have some way of germinating the egg. So how are you going to do that without a human body? So kind of works out really well the way we have it set up here. I don't know what to say. It just doesn't make any sense to me. But hey, I'm not progressive, I guess. I don't know the science behind progressivism. That's what the problem is. Thank you all for watching. Again, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I will see you in the next video.